needs enemies when you've got a wife like this?
Sometimes I get so painfully nostalgic for college. So for context, I went to college from 2011 to 2016. I was popping my and living my best life in these white boy frat houses, and I had a roster of guys that I would rotate through. So it's like,
I don't know what kind of mental disorder someone needs to have to go on TikTok and be like, you know what? I'm gonna brag about how my buddy count is higher than the GDP of America. This is not the flex you think it is. But this reminiscing of choking on dozens of glizzies on a daily basis back in college is coming from a woman who's married, who's been married since 2021 to this relatively successful comedian. Now, I kind of forgot what this comedian's name is. I mean, he's no Kevin Hart, he's no Dave Chappelle, but like I know his name ends with Singh. I think it's Akaash Singh. And you know what? That's not his real name. Maybe he should change his name to that, because what his wife has put him through, what his wife has done to him,
I was popping my
is beyond embarrassing. First of all, I know I speak for everybody when I say that ain't nobody wanted to be made aware of this information. Bop. And yet here she is, publicizing all of that information on TikTok like it's a flex.
And living my best life in these white boy frat houses. I was shopping at Rainbow.
Like, why is she sharing all of this? Bro, this is information you keep to yourself. No, this is information you take to your grave. Because I'm gonna be honest, you wouldn't be able to waterboard that information out of me. You wouldn't be able to get Batman to beat that information out of me. And here she is saying all of this like it's something to be proud of. Oh, now that I think about it, this has to be one of those fell abortions who's just unironically proud to be a tot. But we haven't even gotten to the sad part yet, because imagine being in her husband's shoes. Imagine seeing your wife on a daily basis going on TikTok, talking about how college was the best time of her life, and reminiscing about the countless guys making screenshot noises out of her cheeks. Bruv, I hate to break the news, but I know we can all agree when I say this, but this is literally your wife saying that as a husband, you're not enough, and your meat's not enough, and she's trying to get it from someone else. Like her posting all those TikToks, and believe me when I say that there are a lot of TikToks like this, and we're just getting started. But Akaash's wife posting these diabolical TikToks despite being married, it's clearly her dog whistling about how she's low-key available, and she's hoping that people with BBCs, and we're not talking about a news network here, but she's hoping that people with beef Wellingtons are going to be DMing her, offering their services, offering their seasoned meats. Like, I don't know, man. Marrying a bub like this is beyond humiliating. It's not only humiliating, but just embarrassing, and it's just sad.
Sometimes it like literally hurts my heart.
And here she is making some sus noises for no reason. But before you start feeling bad for Akaash Singh, don't misunderstand, because all of this cuckery is self-inflicted. And it's the result of marrying the first person, the first girl who's willing to talk to you despite the countless obvious red flags. Bruh, for example, there are so many clips, some of them coming from before they even got married, where you can clearly see Akaash's wife, Jasleen, dodge his kisses. Like, who does that? Who does that to their soulmates? And it gets even better, because even during his proposal, you will see Jasleen. Even during his proposal, he's unable to kiss her. Who would have thought that the best comedy bit coming from this comedian would not be coming from his comedy shows, but would be coming from his real life relationship? Like, you can just tell she is not into him. Oh, what the hell, boy? What was that? What was that? Oh, hell nah. You can just tell, like, who does that? Like, the whoop, the way she's dodging his kisses. I'm sorry to say, Akaash, she not into you. You wanna know what she's into? She's into those white frat boys that she was talking about in her TikTok. And unfortunately for you, Akaash, you ain't it.
I'm living my best life in these white boy frat houses, and I had a roster of guys that I would rotate through.
For anyone watching this video right now, here's some advice that's not only gonna save you from losing a lot of money, but it's gonna save you from getting a lot of STDs. One of the worst things you can do in your life is marry the wrong person, aka marry at 304. Whether you're a guy or a girl, never ignore those obvious red flags. For example, let's look at this.
Do you want to go out with me?
100%. Is this your moment or not? Or does some other guy have to come here and do it? You would come off? You don't even know this guy.
I would allow it.
Whoa!
Wow, what? I feel like I just contracted mouth herpes just from watching this. But that's the thing, guys. Some people are gonna look at this and they're gonna be like, I'm gonna wife her up. I can fix her. No, you can't. Here's the reality of the situation. If you're gonna go ahead and ignore all those obvious red flags, and you're gonna look at a girl who's literally willing to consume spit from random strangers, and you're gonna be like, I'm gonna wife her up. Well, don't be surprised when you inevitably get cheated on and when you inevitably get turned into a cuck. Because that's exactly what Akaash Singh did when he married Jasleen and ignored all those countless red flags, and now he's paying the price. And he's been successfully reduced into a cuck who can probably sing. Now, Jasleen Singh's got a podcast of her own, but I'm sorry, but I gotta ask, what's up with all these random people who be having podcasts? Like, okay, you married a rich, successful guy. Congratulations. What do you bring to the table? This girl got countless guys to run multiple trains on her back in college, and now suddenly she thinks she's got some life-changing advice to partake with us? To share with us? Phew, my bad, I'm about to crash. Now let me calm down for a second. So Jasleen Singh's got a podcast of her own called Main Character Podcast. Wow, she's definitely not one of those toxic people who actually think she's the main character in the world. But believe me when I say that Jasleen is a living PR nightmare for her husband, a cuck. I mean, let's just look at the things that her co-host and Jasleen talk about during these stupid podcasts.
Okay, so somebody commented on my TikTok the other day, and they were like, how do you and your husband split finances? And I'm gonna be really fucking honest.
I don't.
We don't.
We don't.
We don't.
First of all, that's a fucking
fuck?
red flag. I'm not like, no joke. I love you girls. If you want to work, all for that, whatever. But like,
Oh, by the way, she's jobless. Just for your information.
like any man that doesn't want to have a joint bank account or isn't being transparent with his accounts or has separate accounts, that's a fucking red flag. And I will say it again.
Buddy, you're a walking red flag. What you talking about? Like, why is she even talking about red flags? Like, what?
Because I know there's
Oh, she's a rage beat machine. She's literally a rage beat machine.
This is not a two-way street. This is a one-way street. His money is our money, and my money is my money. And
Yo. Okay, so let me get this straight. You've got someone who's not letting her own husband kiss her, not even on the day where Akaash proposed to her. You've got someone bragging and flexing about how she got ran through back in college. But now you've got someone literally telling to your face, oh, your money's our money, but my money's my money. Who the fuck marries this shit? Oh, hell nah! For the record, I sincerely believe that you should be buying most things for your girl, most things for your wife, because you want to. Because she keeps saying stuff like, oh, I don't want you to buy anything for me. Which actually makes me want to buy more stuff for her. Not because you're expected to. Not because you've got bups like you're saying day one. Oh, by the way, anything that you earn, it's our money. But everything I get is my money. Hell no. Avoid those bups like the Black Plague.
so just so we're clear, no, that's actually a fucking red flag because I know so...
Okay, I've had enough of this bum talking about red flags. Buddy, like I said, you're a walking red flag. You want to know what a red flag is? I'll show you right now.
Would y'all ever have an orgy together with your husbands?
Priya, I'm actively trying to have an orgy because this couple is so fucking good looking and you haven't seen Nav yet, but wait till you fucking see him. His body goes crazy. His face card always slays, never declines. And it's kind of weird because I'm talking about your husband.
No, I kind of love it, but I'm like, us four? Okay, maybe.
I just know that Nav's dick is like at least 10 inches.
So here she is, literally fantasizing about her co-host's husband. Yo, if I was her husband and I saw my wife literally fantasizing about someone else's glizzy, that would be my 13th reason why. I'm gonna keep it a Canadian $1.50 here. I've had enough of these femcells jobless bums who expect to get all their money from their own husbands who are out there preaching these diabolical, dare I say, anti-feminism worldviews, and then they go ahead and start preaching about equality and feminism, when in reality for them equality means they get everything and the husband gets less than nothing. Because I guarantee you right now, Akaash, a cuck, he's not getting anything from this woman. I guarantee you he's never gotten some from her. In fact, the most action he's probably gotten with her is probably when she lay like a starfish like that, and then he probably did the deed in less than 10 seconds. And I guarantee you he would have probably gotten more action from Patrick from SpongeBob, because at least he would have seen Patrick's belly bounce. Okay, I gotta calm down. Like, you know I'm tilted when I start saying some such shit like that. Like, what the? But don't worry, everyone, because it gets even worse.
Okay, hi, my name is Jasleen, and these are things that I do as a stay-at-home wife. Or sorry, I don't do. I don't cook, I don't clean, and I don't do my husband's laundry.
So what the fuck do you do then? Look, let me correct myself really quick when it comes to not having a job when you're married. There is actually nothing wrong with not having a job if you'd rather be a stay-at-home wife. I'm all for it. But when you're telling me that you're not cooking, you're not cleaning, you're not doing shit, then you failed. Even when it comes to being a stay-at-home wife, you've completely failed.
I feel that I don't have to do things to justify or prove my worth that...
What worth? Bruv, You've literally admitted that you don't believe in working. Ergo, you're not contributing jack to our society. You're not cleaning, you're not cooking. You're not even helping your husband. She's literally a debuff, a net negative for her husband. But Akaash really looked at this woman and said, I'ma marry that shit. That's what I'm saying, guys. That's why I'm saying you can't feel bad for a cuck. This is all self-inflicted. But here's where it gets even funnier, guys. Remember the co-host husband that Jasleen kept fantasizing about? Well, here he is showing up to one of her podcasts. But not only is he showing up to the podcast, but a cuck himself also is. Now, you would think that, Jasleen would tone it down with her down badness since, I mean, I don't know, her husband is literally next to her. But nope.
Call me a scammer?
Yeah, you are a scammer.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I know.
There's a difference being a scammer and being a hustler. Two very different things.
Okay.
I'm a hustler who scams a little bit. I'm not a scammer who
I'm not
hustles.
gonna lie, that was sexy, and that's why I'm actively trying to have an orgy.
Wait.
Nope. She's still raising him. She's still glazing the co-host husband next to a cuck. I mean, you look at this unfathomable amount of disrespect, and it's quite clear now as to why there's literally a chair in the corner of a hotel room. Look, a cuck is literally hitting the same pose as this guy. Bro, I literally typed cuck chair hotel room, and my man's literally hitting the same pose as this cuck. You can't make this up. But I do want to correct some huge misinformation for a second, because I've seen some crazy TikTok comments of people saying that Jasleen is just pretending to be a main character. She's just pretending to be a femcel. Oh, really? Okay, let's be mentally disabled for a second. Let's pretend that you're right. Why is it then that there's literally a clip of Akaash in this podcast crashing out at his wife for acting like an actual narcissistic piece of crap in real life?
I love her. She's so adorable. When she's running 2 hours late to a dinner reservation that I worked really hard to get, and then I'm like, baby, we're running late. And she's like, are you fucking kidding me? Do you know? I don't give a fuck if we're late to this dinner. They're lucky to have us. And I'm like, oh, that's what we're doing?
That was actually what was said.
You know what?
Why did she say that like she's proud of it? That's not a good thing with her small... Oh, she's a rage bait machine, bro. I need to calm down.
I was in the room when that happened, when you guys were going to that South Indian restaurant. She was like,
Dude,
they are
Selma,
lucky.
the #1 restaurant in the New York Times. You know how hard a
Yeah,
reservation
she's like,
is?
call them right now. Call them right now.
You know, the funny thing is that you can finally see Akaash, like, actually letting his true emotions out. Like, what's the word for this? Like, he's cuck raging, you know? Like, he's cuck raging for the first time, and, it must feel good for him to finally let his true emotions out in this podcast.
It's not a shit on session.
I'm not even joking. This is how main character I am. I was like, Sema will be lucky that I would grace them with my presence tonight.
Okay, Nav.
And then
But don't worry, guys. She's just playing it up for the camera. And she definitely doesn't act like a toxic spoiled brat in real life. But now we gotta talk about Akaash's point of view, because from his perspective, he really seems to believe that his wife is treating him well and that his relationship is the embodiment of a healthy relationship. For example, here's a clip from 8 months ago where Akaash can be seen being truly comfortable with his own relationship to the point where he's literally criticizing another man for being a submissive cuck husband.
Dude.
Anyway.
Yeah, keep going this. So husband gets on steroids, he gets fit.
The husband just got really screwed in the whole process.
He's also kind of like a dumb seeming guy, easily manipulated. He's so in love with his wife. He's like so cucked out. He just goes along with everything she wants.
And then...
Wow! It's almost as if he's talking about himself. Here's the reality of the situation. Akaash is so deluded into the false belief that his wife is not disrespecting him, not humiliating him on a daily basis, to the point where he's convinced himself that all of these hate comments on his social media accounts, calling his wife out for being a, well, I'm gonna be honest here, for being a tot, calling his wife out is just a huge psyop from red pill incels. I mean, let's read a comment. Akaash's wife's cheeks have gotten more clap. Well, yeah, he's convinced himself that all of these comments are just coming from red pill incels, when in reality, anyone with one brain cell will understand and agree that no, any true lover, any true loving wife is not going to be fantasizing over another man's glizzy, is not going to be flirting with said man in front of her husband. Smash like and subscribe if you agree. Akaash has convinced himself that he's in such an amazing healthy relationship to the point where he's literally going out there and giving advice on what a healthy relationship should be like.
That's dangerous. Here's the thing. One person in the relationship, whoever cares less, has the leverage, and we want the guy to always care less.
That's
We want the man to
wild.
always
That's
have the leverage.
childish as fuck.
And you
bro.
guys might not like hearing
is
that.
childish.
But we truly feel.
I'm not.
that
These
you
aren't
have
new
to.
beliefs, bro. You're not telling me some shit none of us have ever heard. We all heard this from fraternity guys in college. I'm saying there's room in your, and I don't have a problem with a lot of the stuff you say. I just think there is room for growth, and you guys' refusal to acknowledge it almost kind of proves it to me, confirms it to me that you guys are not willing to grow right now, and that's fine. That's some ego shit. We're just saying there's room for growth.
The funniest part is that I actually agree with Akaash here. I mean, yeah, like, I would hope that those high school tier mind games would be put at a stop when you get married. Like, I would hope that you guys are both comfortable enough to the point where you don't need to, you know, oh, I'm gonna play hard to get. Oh, I'm gonna, you know, I'm gonna pretend that I don't care. Like, yeah. But here's the reality of the situation. This is a strong case of right message, wrong messenger, because I'm sorry, but I don't want to hear that advice from someone who's literally wearing that chastity cage on his little cucumber and who's literally getting disrespected and humiliated on a daily basis by his own wife. This is literally the equivalent of, I don't know, a 400-pound behemoth who, you know, like, who's got the BMI of a planet, having their own podcast and then saying stuff like, guys, eating healthy is very important, okay? Make sure to eat your vegetables. Like, I don't want to hear that from you. Let's address the elephant in the room. Clearly, the reason as to why Akaash is coping this hard is because she's outside of his league and he's afraid of losing her. That's why he keeps showering her with gifts and with money, because that's the only way he knows how to, you know, try to keep her. And I want to make it clear, I'm not throwing shots at him. This is something that he literally admits multiple times.
My wife is objectively gorgeous. Me, nah. So that's what you got to do. I got to work my ass off, and then every time she starts looking at me and she starts assessing my beauty, I just throw a bag at that. Chest bag.
The reason as to why I'm personally convinced that Akaash's wife is eligible for some disability checks is because there's a huge difference between a gold digger who understands their role, like the role of, you know, yoinking as much money from their partner, and with Jasleen, who single-handedly griefed and sabotaged her own husband's bag. Ergo, her bag as well, because if you look at Akaash's podcast, which used to be extremely popular, now you're literally seeing a like-dislike ratio that looks like a BBC. Like, what do you want me to say? Like, literally. You're literally seeing everyone hating on the podcast, calling Akaash a clown, a simp, a cuck, calling his wife out, and I don't know. It really seems to me that Jasleen has done an amazing job at sabotaging her own husband's career. In fact, Jasleen has done such an amazing job at single-handedly destroying her own husband's bag, but she also destroyed her husband's friends' bags to the point where they literally went full PR damage control and hosted this pathetic video response where they tried to rebrand Jasleen into this innocent shy girl.
About it. So I think it's a few things. I think it's like
You really sat and thought about it.
because I was like, okay, maybe it's like the repressed Indian girl thing where it's like I get a little bashful, I do get a little shy, despite what the internet thinks.
Most Indians do. I'm the.
Who's buying this? Bro, you were literally out there on TikTok flexing about how you had a roster of guys of like 50 glitties back in college, and she was literally fantasizing about her co-host husband 12-inch Subway sandwich, but now out of a sudden she's just a little shy little puppy? Ain't no one with at least one chromosome buying that. Moral of the story is, whether you're a guy or a girl, don't ignore them red flags. Smash like and subscribe right now, or your spouse is going to be your worst enemy.
Money, 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 money.